Hello everyone, my name is Dorian. Welcome to another track guide with the F3. We are at Okayama. And yeah, this is a really nice combo. I'm surprised at how much I'm enjoying it. I must have done like 150 laps to get the setup and the lap dialed in. It's been a lot of fun. It's been a great process. Now, I'm just going to show you guys the lap real quick. And if you enjoy it, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. If you want to see the setup or jump into our Get Good Sundays, where we practice every Sunday, 8 GMT. Hop over to my Discord, and yeah, you'll have all the details there. That's it. See you on the track. Okay, so we're coming up to turn number 1. Let's look for a breaking point. We have a couple of visuals here. So we have the last 4 white markers. So this is the 4th one, just here. And I'm going to brake right when I reach it. Not really looking at that vicinity though, but it's easier to spot the blue marker, the blue cone here, and the pit exit. And you can see I'm only peaking around 50%. This whole track is about maintaining your front tire temperatures on corner entry. It's very important. If you slam on the brakes at any point, you're not going to be able to turn the car in. So 50 up to 60% tops on most of the corners, even less than that on some of them. And downshifting all the way down into 4th, starting to turn in now, and I'm looking for the curb on the way in. That curb and that little bit of grass that I clip here, gonna give me a nice amount of rotation. So I can be pretty aggressive on the exit. You can see the car is rotating nicely. I'm not gonna understeer too wide. So I'm already back at 100%, but started with around 50-60%, just probing for the grip, trying to find out where the car wants to go. And at this point, it started rotating, so I decided to slam it. Going almost all the way to the outside. You really don't want to be hitting this curb on the exit because you'll be too far off to line the car up nicely for the next corner. So you really want to stay as right as possible on the exit here without losing all your speed. Now, we are taking the car from 4th into 5th at this point. And as soon as I upshift into 5th, I'm pretty much going to start to turn in. So I'm taking the car to the white line here. This is pretty much your turn-in point. And I'm going to gradually lift. So around 80% at first. Then all the way down into 30%. Just trying to prevent the understeer. But that initial turn-in can induce some oversteer as well. So you don't want to lift altogether. You want to kind of be gradual and try to carry as much speed into the apex as possible. And as soon as I can see the car is about to start understeering, I'm going to trail brake a tiny bit to rotate the car into the apex. And as soon as I can see I hit the curb, already back on the power, a little too early. I had a little bit of understeer on the exit. Might have been wise to wait just a little while longer and maybe use less brakes. It's touch and go here. Very tricky corner. 50%. Squeezing it back to around 70, a little bit of modulation, and back to 100. Leaning on the tires very hard, which is not what you want to do. This is very peculiar. The first time that ever happened to me, it was just as fast as how I usually do it, but usually I don't. I open up the wheel a lot sooner. I don't understeer as much, and this was because I was very aggressive on my return to the throttle. So you got to be careful and just be smooth on the the initial input, and don't just slam it and let the car go wide like that. All the way up to into 6 here, looking for a braking point. I would say it's the 70, 65, 70. So if you have the 50 board here, you're gonna brake just before it, right around this point. And again, not braking very hard. I would say 60% peak and releasing pretty quickly. Downshifting all the way into 3rd, and I'm gonna initiate the turn in pretty late. So as you can see, I'm staying on the left for as long as I can before the camber kind of starts to become cambered, before the road becomes cambered. That's what I'm trying to say, English. And trail braking all the way into it, trying to find a nice early apex here. Because I got so much camber here, I'm gonna slam it from this point on. So you can see around 90% right off the bat, just making sure the car is not stepping out or going too wide. And I want to stay on the inside here for a pretty long time because it's a much shorter route than taking the outside or the middle line here. And that's going to give you some time, a good half a tenth, sometimes a tenth, and slowly opening up the wheel, taking it to the outside. Alright, so this is a very tricky corner, and it's a very good overtaking point, so you really have to nail your braking. We're gonna brake, I would say if this is the 100, maybe at the 90, 95, right around here, maybe even 80. That might be 80. Peaking at 60%, straight line, downshifting all the way down into 2nd. You can see I'm only gonna initiate the turn in very late. The reason being is I want to hug the corner from the inside around halfway through it. So from this point on, I want to stay on the right as much as possible. Trail braking all the way into it. And there's so much camber and so much rubber. I'm going to go back pretty aggressively on the power here without going too wide. So if you're wider than this, you're not going to have all this sweet camber here that's going to suck you in and allow you to be very aggressive with the throttle. So 2nd gear, you really want to try to avoid the snap oversteer. You can use 1st to avoid the snap oversteer, by the way. It's slower. 2nd is much faster, I think. So yeah, already back at 60, 70%, squeezing more out of it as I straighten out the wheel. Back to 100%. Barely any correction with the wheel, just a tiny bit. And I'm already in the middle of the track. That's perfect because I want to line up the car nicely to the left, to the right, sorry, before I take this left-hander. Up to 3rd gear, and if you're really looking for a turn-in point, it's this color change and the white line becomes darker here. It's kind of tricky though. This is a very tricky corner because it does have a tendency to over-rotate sometimes on entry or completely understeer. It's very unpredictable here. I'm braking around, I would say 20-25%, and just carrying it neutrally here, trying to make sure I'm not scrubbing off too much speed. Over rotate a little bit, clip this curb a little more than I'm comfortable with. It's kind of bounced me to the outside. But because I maintained a good amount of throttle on it, the car didn't get too upset. 50% at first, and then 70, a little bit of modulation. I know the car is going to over rotate on the exit here. So I'm just going to make sure I'm going to straighten out the wheel before I slam it. Catching a little bit of a slide to the right, using all of the curb, and it's very important to use all of the curb on the way out with the AstroTurf, and on this corner entry as well. What I do here is kind of weird, not something that is technically correct. I'm upshifting into 4th gear, have a smoother entry, and the car won't be as jerky on the entry, and I'm downshifting to 3rd on the apex to accelerate back out. So I'm in 4th gear here. You can see as soon as my right front is clipping this, I would say this is like an apex from the short version. So as soon as I'm clipping it, I'm going to turn in the car, a little bit of braking, very gentle amount of braking. So around 15%. Let the car rotate all the way into the apex, and I'm going to downshift now, right around here, and back on the power. You don't want to slam it. It feels like you could, but as the tires get warmer and warmer, the car will have a tendency to snap on the exit. You can see I'm catching it a little bit. So you don't want to be too aggressive here, or else you can put yourself in a wall, or at least, you know, scrub some speed when you kind of grind this curve a little bit too much. And looking for another braking point here. 50. That's your friend. Right at it. Cold tires a little bit before. 50% brakes. Stay on the outside. Downshifting into second. Starting to turn in quite late here because I want to carry the speed from the outside. I don't want to. A lot of people tend to dive into the inside here very early. And that's one way to do it, I guess. But I feel like you can carry more speed into the corner. You're just a little smoother with your braking. And yeah, just try not to scrub off too much speed on the entry. Around 30%, just probing for the grip as I mount the curb, keeping the car nice and stable. A little bit more as I open up the wheel. Trying to stay on the left here. I don't want to take a nice... I want to take a nice short route. I don't want to go too wide here. 50-60%, back to 100. And taking the car to the left again. Small dab of the brakes. And we're going to start to turn in nicely into this corner, trail braking. And I'm treating it like a very late apex. So I would say this is my apex. Even though I'm already opening up the wheel at this point. This is the point where that I aspire to reach as straight as possible. So I'll have a nice, strong exit. Around 50% just to prepare, just to get some load on the rear wheels. Open up the wheel, putting my right front right around here, I would say. And pretty much slamming it back to 100%. Then the car go wide. Don't try to hug the inside for too long after the exit. Let the car go wide, it's the right line, and will prevent the excessive oversteer. There's almost always a little bit of oversteer here on the exit. This is a flat out corner. Excuse me, flat out corner. Fourth, fifth now. First lap, I would lift a little bit. And in terms of a braking point for this final corner, you're in fifth gear, you're braking into fourth, and you have the end of the AstroTurf here. Let that be a marker. I'm going to start braking right here. Straight line, and as soon as I get it down to fourth, start to turn in pretty early. Trail braking into it. The braking was very gentle, so 40%, maybe 35%. Then starting to trail brake into the apex. Again, the curb here on the right really helps you rotate, so clipping it will help you get an early exit. So 50, 60, 70, squeezing all the way up to 100%. Then the car go all the way to the outside. Use all of the track available to you because, or else the car will oversteer on the exit. And that will give us a 1:21.781. I hope you guys enjoyed this track guide. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Hop on over to my Discord. We have Get Good Sundays. Every Sunday, 8 GMT, we all practice together. I'll see you all in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.